nostro imperdibile appuntamento con On The Road, quest'oggi speciale Gods of Metal. Sul palco tantissime band e non vi vogliamo far perdere nulla, e quindi Whitesnake, Mr. Big, Europe, Judas Priest e tante altre band, e voi rimanete sintonizzati su Rock TV e vi faccio scoprire tutto sul Gods of Metal.
Take a little bit of everything, really, you know, from rock and from thrash and from punk rock and classic rock and metal. Throw it all in a blender, hit high, and pour it out, and what you get is what we are. We don't like to really classify ourselves under any certain one genre, as it enables us to be able to create the music that we want to hear, and there are no labels on what we do, so our possibilities are endless. I say what we do as a band is definitely try and bring a fresh new aspect to metal that's out there today, you know, a little more positive, a little more lighthearted, and but still thrashy and very powerful.
Best place to enjoy a Cavalera concert is on the mosh pit, on the circle pit, when everybody's going, and it's huge, and it looks dangerous, but it's not. It's safe. Everybody's friendly, but that's the best place, you know. And to see from the stage, because it looks great when everybody's going in a big circle. It's awesome. Blunt force trauma is technical medical name for getting hit in the face or a car accident or when somebody's brutally murdered. A lot of times on the medical report papers, cause of death will be blunt force trauma, which is really strong, you know, kind of powerful name, I thought. Perfect for the music of the record, you know.
Falling and burning, execution now is coming. Corruption is the sign and destruction of your life. Hey, Son of a mercy, motherfucking wicked. Bleeding, son of
But I think that the timing we chose it was perfect. Everybody was really ready to make the album, so it was a good time for everybody. In the studio, the vibe of the band was really high. It was really powered up. Everybody was ready to make this record, so that helped. So there was no blockage in the studio. So when we came down to even the lyrics, I looked for different subjects like Genghis Khan and Rasputin, Warlord, or the song we did with Roger from Agnostic Front, Lynch Mob, which is a different subject. Just look for different stuff, that will fit the album,
My best live memory? It was always kind of those first things, like my first gig ever in a punk rock band, playing in front of 60 people. I couldn't believe 60 people came to see a band I was in. The first time I've ever played certain countries like Italy, it's amazing for me to come to a new country and play. And now, like I've played Italy so many times that I come here and I know people. And so I think the live experience for me now, the amazing thing is that I kind of feel ownership of some of these festivals that come and play because I've played so many times. And I still love it.
Buongiorno Milano, on the lead guitar, Mr. Von Squire.
Well, number one, it's not really a solo project. We all write for the thing. I know it says Duff McKagan's Loaded. We have a particular amount of fans for this band that really understand the thing. You'd have to come and see us live to really, I guess, kind of buy into the thing. It's really not a solo project, me just doing something to do it. It's really my only band I have now. It's not a side project or any of those things. And we've toured enough now and played enough gigs. We've played a few hundred, maybe more than a few hundred shows. So I don't know. I guess if you like the Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver, you'll probably like Loaded. I guess it's the type of music I play doesn't stray very far.
My personal god of metal is a difficult question, but as a kid I started playing guitar because of Slash. So if I have to mention a god of metal for me, it would be Slash, because without him I would have not played the guitar. I think back then, the last time Gods of Metal, we didn't have Isaac De La Haye as a band member, permanent band member yet. He replaced Ad Sluiter, and we recorded The Divine Conspiracy in the meantime, between the last Gods of Metal and now. And this album, The Divine Conspiracy, was the next step for Epica that brought us a lot of new shows, new fans, new tours. So a big step forward. And at this moment we are working on the next album already, which is going to be released March 9th next year. Met him. So yeah, I saw it already on the posters somewhere, but I think Duff McKagan is still walking around somewhere. Yeah, I started with Guns N' Roses, and that was the step to heavier music. So yeah, it's nice to play with Duff on the same festival, and that he even plays before us.
Hi, this is Eric, and this is Billy, and we're from the band Mr. Big, and it's great to say that now. You know, we kind of took a 15-year break, and whether that was too long or too short, I don't know, but we're here now. We got together in 2009. We all pretty much had the same idea, you know. We really missed playing with each other and missed the music, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, I played in a bunch of solo bands and it was great, but not as great as this. This is the best band I've ever been in, and I really missed it. And we've been out on the road for good 10, 11 weeks now, and I think we're tight now.
Finally. Yes, we are. It's been a blast. We're having a great time, and one great thing about it is we're getting to see a lot of our friends that we've known from the old days, and used to come out and see the band when we first started, and a lot of people that are our dear friends, and all over the place, in the Philippines and Japan, of course, and Germany, France, here in Italy, of course. We got a lot of friends here. So it's been a really cool thing. We're very pleased about it. Well, it was kind of automatically came together. You know, we do what we do. When we first started Mr. Big, it was designed really as a kind of a live band, so it's pretty easy for us to get in a room and just start going. And so there wasn't too many difficult aspects of getting it together and starting a record. And it was an enjoyable process for the most part. There was some good kind of pressure to do a record. You know, we did it fast and we did it live and we did it real, so there was some pressure as far as that goes, but it's a good kind of pressure. It makes us really perform this stuff really well, so we're very pleased with the way the record came out. It's called What If, in case you haven't heard.
mother, your lover, and your little boy.
I mean, what if is like a positive spin on something. You know something new and exciting is coming. You know, it's like the power of imagination. And I think Billy already said it. I'm just, I agree. I concur with what you said. Yeah.
Look what I found!
That's another thing. I mean, I was so excited to have the band do that first record in all these years, you know? And so I felt like I was completely on my game, as well as the rest of the guys, too.
Everything you're looking for, you can find down there. I'll be anything you want you today. Everything you
It's got to be a little tongue-in-cheek, you know? Gods of metal. Come on. I mean, it's kind of a fun thing. Who's my personal gods of metal? Okay, if we're playing that game, Rob Halford would definitely be my god of metal. Right. Yep. And Billy Sheehan.
Well, I'll concur. Rob Halford. I'm a huge Priest fan, and I love Rob Halford. And I'll bat it right back and say Eric Martin.
All right.
Oh yeah, we've done 3 albums now since we've come back, and we've had a great time putting in a lot of hard work and touring a lot, and it's finally beginning to pay off, and we're having great success with The Last Look at Eden. I mean, it's the most important album for us since The Final Countdown. It's been well received with fans and with media, and we are very, very happy. It was a very sort of unpolished start, but Secret Society, we really got into the studio work and learned the craft and how to record, what engineer, what mixing desk, and you know, we really got into that. And we produced it ourselves, and we learned a lot. But Last Look at Eden was a spontaneous rock album. We just let go in the studio, had a great time. It's been a journey, you know. It's great when the 3rd album, in this case the 8th album, but it's the 3rd album since we started, just sort of happened for us, and we've been touring ever since for 1.5 years on Last Look at Eden, the album that refuses to die. I don't know, man. It's a different music world today. But we've started working with our fans more on our website as well, EuropeTheBand.com. The interesting thing with this new age is that you're closer to your fans. You know, you read the forums, you know what they're saying and thinking, and you know if they're following you or questioning you, and I think it's very important. In the 80s and 90s, you were signed up with a management that answered your letters for you, and you never really saw and had a close contact with your fans. So there's something positive about this whole internet revolution. But you have to work. If you're a new band, you have to really work hard on the website. You really have to work on that side of things and reach out that way. But, you know, we come from a generation where we sat 4 to 8 hours a day, played our instruments. These days, the kids have so many things. It could be computer games, it could be anything. There's so many more things to do. We just sort of, you know, it was long, cold winters in Sweden. You know, we just sat down and learned our instrument well, you know. So the advice is, you know, practice.
I think the one thing I would say is that in the 80s when I saw Whitesnake, I thought they were a great band, and I've been a fan of David's for years, but I really feel like right now we're on a really special road right now. It's awesome.
I think I came to Europe the first time in 1994 with Zakk Wylde and his band Pride and Glory, and it was like really overwhelming because we played Donington and opening up for bands I grew up on and was a fan of and all this stuff. So, but to come back here now, it's always a treat. It's always fun, and not so much changes. Just, you know, there's people that are ready for a rock show, and that's, you know what I mean? You get to play loud drums to a lot of people in a great band, you know, and that's it's always something to look forward to. You can never complain about that. You can't go wrong. So I think that, you know, ties into your question as well, didn't it? A little bit. Yeah. I don't think that not much hasn't changed. I mean, Whitesnake, Judas Priest, we're playing with Ozzy in a few days, and you know, Buck Cherry. It's like all these great bands in the summertime in Europe. So it's no different than it was for me the first time. It's just, you know, I think I have more friends around at these shows now because I've been doing it for a while. But it's pretty awesome, yeah.
I think that the thing that's really cool is David is still interested in pushing the envelope. Every time he works on new music, he wants it to be the best that he's ever done. I mean, he's aiming for writing the best song of his life every time, and I think that's really cool. And so it inspires us to push the envelope. And
The best place, probably in the vicinity of where the rock concert is. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's definitely gonna be better the closer you are to the stage. If you're in the same city and you know it's happening, that's cool. Like, I know they're playing, but if you actually get there and then you get a ticket and you get in and get to the front and it's really loud, you know, and you're screaming along and singing along, I don't know. I don't know. Where else would it be better than that? Maybe on stage, you know?
well, no, the thing is, it's on stage, it's cool. We can, you know, on stage left, which is my side of the stage, when you're facing the audience, the left side is my side. That's kind of like the mellow side. And then there's a small party going on stage right, on the other side where Reb and Michael Devin are. But the real party is back behind the drums with him and his tech Matt. These guys are, there's a disco behind the drum kit.
Yeah, we have a great hang back there.
past will be new. Leaving a trail of destruction, the seconds are
Wow, I think if you look back over 40 years, the only real difference that's changed in the concert experience is, I remember this, Glendia, when we did the first ever Monsters of Rock, and the backstage were those little old caravans that you could squeeze 2 people in, and there was mud and straw on the floor.
Now you don't even get straw. Don't even get straw.
Now you get a nice piece of black cloth. But the fans have grown gigantically over the last 40 years. Heavy metal has become this massive global phenomenon. Every single country has a heavy metal band. Every single country has millions of heavy metal fans. So it's a real pleasure for us to say that because Judas Priest has been from the beginning of heavy metal to where we are now almost 40 years later, to see how gigantic the metal scene is worldwide. No, I think that the thing that's always been so strong in Judas Priest is the passion for what we do with our metal music. We love it probably more now than we ever did before, and that's why we continuously go out on these massive worldwide tours, because we have millions of Priest fans that want to see us, and we can never say thank you enough to the Judas Priest fans for keeping the band alive. They're the reason that we're here, you know. So we don't even think about retirement. We look to the future, we look to some more shows, we look to some more metal music, making new records. We have a new record coming out next year. So even though we're pulling back a little bit from the live performances, the life of Judas Priest is still very strong. I think there's so many, it's pleasingly confusing, because you look out in the world of metal today, there's so many talented bands. I'll tell you what is a little bit poignant, is that the kind of metal that, say, a band like Priest makes, there doesn't appear to be anybody out there right now that's covering that kind of musical territory. So if there's some new bands listening to this interview, and I'm sure there will be here in Italy, that might be something to think about. Go back to the early roots of metal and study the classics, the way that the songs were put together, and the way the instrumentation was put together, and all of those other wonderful aspects of that style of metal. And it would be interesting to see if, like, a band that has a strong Judas Priest influence or personality could push forward in the metal world in the years to come. But it's just great. There's just too many to name names. Thank you very much. Thank you.